is the most important thing to know about raising a healthy kitten?
Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Meghan Denney from Paws at Fulshear Veterinary Clinic. This morning, my veterinary technician Maddie and I are going to be chatting a little bit about a kitten and kind of what to expect and things to know.
Dr. Denney, what is the most important thing to know about raising a healthy kitten?
Okay, so what to know about raising a healthy kitten? Like, what are the most important things that I consider? So number one, do some research if you've never had a cat. They are litter box trained, which means instinctually they will know to go use a litter box. So step one, litter box, litter. Super easy. You want to make sure that your kitten is obviously eating and drinking. You want to be able to play with your kitten. Playtime of kittens is how you socialize them, is how they learn the world. Everything that moves is going to be something new to them, and they're going to be very much, oh, I need to go look at this. So following on to that, kittens like to get into trouble. They're very curious. There's a reason why there's a saying, cats have 9 lives, is because they're really curious, and that curiosity can get them into trouble sometimes. So it's just something to be aware of. Playtime with kittens, like I said, is a great way to socialize them. Yearly veterinary visits is extremely important. And then just finding their own habits. Every cat is different. They have different personalities. You will learn what your kitten is normal, like what is normal for them. So for instance, my cat, the Munch, he loves to sleep with me. When he doesn't sleep with me, I usually go check on him because that's not his normal. He also loves to drink water out of the faucet. Like there's things that you'll learn about your cat, and as a kitten, those things will start to come out, and you will learn those. You'll also learn their meows. You'll learn what a stressed meow is, or what a happy meow is, or what the meow is when they're looking for you, or when they're hungry, and you'll learn to pick up on these cues, which will help you form a really healthy cat-human bond. So you have a furry feline friend for as long as we can. It's a happy, healthy environment.
Dr. Denney, what are the right and wrong ways to pick up my kitten?
So you never want to pick them just straight up from underneath their arms, because that can hurt. So you don't want to pick them up how you would pick up a baby. So babies you pick up right underneath their arms. With kittens, you actually want to make sure that you're supporting their little rear ends. So I usually kind of like to scoop and have their front legs here and kind of their bottom here and pick them up, and you can kind of carry them like this. You can also have them like kind of on your forearm, so like the head here, body here, and kind of have a hold that way. But you never want to pick them up from their arms just because that really can cause pain and tension on the underarm area.
How can I tell if my kitten is happy and healthy?
Happy kitten is going to get into things. They're going to be chasing their tail. They're going to be bright, alert, and looking at everything around them. Eating and drinking is going to be a big part of that as well. But playfulness in a kitten is usually the #1 sign that they're feeling better. Sleeping. If they're sleeping a whole lot, that can mean something's wrong. It's normal for babies to sleep, but for kittens, we should have spurts of energy followed by a nap and then another spurt of energy. If all we're doing is napping or hiding, then something's not right.
How should I feed my kitten?
So cats are a little bit finicky. Some cats like to graze throughout the day. We actually recommend feeding them, either in the morning, middle of the day, and into the evening, just to get them on scheduled feedings, because we can really battle weight gain in cats as they get older, just because they were hunters and outdoors and exercising. But when we brought them in to be house cats, their jobs are to purr on our laps and look cute, and so they don't burn up a lot of calories. So it's very easy to overfeed them if we do what's called free feeding, where we leave the food out all day long. So we just have to be cognizant of something like that.
What are some products I might need for my kitten?
Litter box. Litter box. Litter box is important. With litter is important too. Kitten food, toys are a good idea. They love, anything can be made into a toy. You can go buy toys, but anything could be made into a toy. I can't tell you how many times in an exam room I will take a little Q-tip and go like this, and the kitten just has an absolute ball. You ever heard the saying that you get a bot, like you buy a toy from Amazon and it gets delivered, but the cat's more interested in the box than the toy? That's absolutely a truth. Cats love boxes. But feather toys are great, balls are great, the laser pointer can be really fun, but those are some really cool ideas on how to play with your kitty.
How soon should I bring my kitten to see a veterinarian?
So I usually recommend within 1 to 3 days, depending on how the kitten's doing. It's good to have a good baseline exam. It's good to make sure we're checking for intestinal parasites so they get a stool sample. So to make things a lot easier, bring a stool sample in with you. Collecting a stool sample from anybody is not fun, but if they they will deposit a stool sample in their litter box and a little bit of litter on it is fine. Bring it with you. That means we don't have to go in the back door of your little kitten who will not appreciate that.
How can I get the most out of my first vet visit with my new kitten?
Listen and ask questions. Can't tell you how many times I get owners that come in and they have so much they want to tell me, which is great, but sometimes they forget to listen. So make sure that you're listening. Watch how we examine the kitten, how we hold the kitten, because what you can do from a young age is teach them that being held like this or being restrained like this is okay. And they learn everything. The socialization period from a kitten goes all the way up to 18 weeks. So when they're little, like 6 weeks, teaching them to be okay laying on their side or being held on their back or just being generally held by a human in general can really help the ease of veterinary visits. But I think listening is probably the best thing that you can do, and ask questions, be a reflexive listener. And there are no stupid questions. We've heard it all, but it's much better for you to ask me a question in the exam room than to not know something and accidentally do something wrong that could cause harm to your kitten.
What will a veterinarian look for during an initial kitten exam?
So we do a full physical exam. Things that I'm looking for is the kitten bright and alert. Oftentimes you'll see your veterinarian like maybe run their hands across the table. That might look like we're just playing with them, but what I'm actually checking for is, are they tracking with their eyes? Are they interested in what's moving? That's a normal cat behavior. They should be interested in things that move. What do their ears look like? Are they scratching? When I rub their ears, are they really leaning into it, meaning that it's itchy and I need to look a little deeper? Do they have an ear infection? I'll look inside of their mouths. I'll check to see, are their gums nice and pink? Are they hydrated? I'll listen to their heart, make sure that we don't have any heart murmurs and their lungs sound clear and that their abdomens are free of pain. We'll check a stool sample to look for intestinal parasites. So there's a lot that happens in that first visit, even if it looks quick. We go to school for a very long time, so those exams may look very brief, but there is a wealth of information that we are gaining about your new kitten at that visit.
What are some early signs and symptoms of health issues in your kitten?
So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we'll touch on it again. They should be playful. A kitten that's not playful and is just lethargic and laying there and doesn't want to play, that's not normal. A kitten that is doing nothing but hiding. Hiding can be a sign of illness in cats. They like to be alone. They're very solitary when they don't feel well because they're carnivores. Their instincts tell them they're hunters, and when a hunter is sick, they don't want to become the hunted, so they hide. So hiding in a cat is a major signal that something is not wrong. Not eating, not drinking, vomiting, diarrhea, a lot of things that you would look at human babies and say, oh, this isn't normal, then this wouldn't be normal in a kitten either. There'll be times when I ask a client, do you consider this to be normal in a human? And if the answer is no, then most likely it's not normal in your cat either. But hiding and lethargy and not eating, not drinking are going to be kind of your main early warning signs. Obviously, when we get to vomiting and diarrhea, that's a very obvious sign, but the subtle signs of hiding and maybe sleeping more are going to be things that you can pick up on quickly.
Why is it important to avoid self-diagnosing possible kitten health problems?
Oh, so this is a good one. So everyone knows about Dr. Google. Google is a wealth of information. There are veterinary sites like veterinarypartner.com that can actually, give you a lot of really great information, but self-diagnosing can lead to delayed in treatment. So your kitten might be really sick, but because you think you know what's going on and you try to treat at home, they're babies. They get dehydrated a lot faster. Their blood sugar drops a lot faster. They don't have the reserves that an adult animal will have to kind of weather for a few days. They can get sick very quickly, meaning your kitten could be totally fine in the morning and by the evening there could be something wrong. It can happen that quickly. So by self-diagnosing, you're delaying care of your kitten. Also, the earlier you get your kitten in to be seen, the faster and easier it is to get them turned around. The longer that you wait means that other body systems might start being affected. So if we're vomiting and we get dehydrated, then our kidneys can start to fail. There's a whole list of things that can happen the longer that you wait. So I always tell my clients that it's cheaper and easier for early intervention of care. The longer you wait, the more expensive and the more testing that's going to be needed to be done, and the more that we're going to have to do to get them feeling better.
When should my kitten get vaccines?
Oh, this is a great question. Okay, so I like to start vaccines between 7 to 8 weeks and then vaccinate every 4 weeks up until they're about 16 weeks of age. The reason I like to wait to between 7 and 8 weeks is because the maternal antibodies are still circulating in the bloodstream, which means you give a vaccine, those maternal antibodies are looking for what's in that vaccine. That's what they're supposed to do. And so your vaccines aren't as effective. So we really like to vaccinate when the maternal antibodies start to decrease so you can get a good immune response. But vaccines are super important. Even if they're indoor only, we are not. We go everywhere. Viruses and bacteria, it doesn't, like, you touch things and you can bring that into your home and you could expose your kitten.
What do you need to know about kitten behavior?
Okay, so they get into trouble. 9 lives. There's a reason, like I said a lot earlier, they have 9 lives. They're super curious. They need a lot of enrichment. Play with your kitten, expose them to new things. Make sure things that they like to swallow, hair ties are a big one, plastic, they'll chew on stuff. I had a cat once that swallowed a pistachio shell and had to have surgery. So make sure any tiny little things that are on the ground, pick them up, because the kitties will make bad kitten life decisions, and then that equals dollars that you have to spend. But so, like, hair ties are a big one. I've even had cats or kittens that will chew on, like, hair from the hairbrushes. So weird things like that. Pay attention to your kitten's behavior. If they're kind of entering into the realm of, oh, this might not be a good idea, like, oh, I'm gonna go walk on the railing next to the stairs on a 2nd-story house. Probably not a good idea. Let's discourage that and maybe bring them down.